So, hello everybody. Today we will try to understand what do you mean by nervous tissue. So, the origin of nervous tissue is from the ectoderm. So, it is ectoderm in origin of the embryo, and if we see the special properties of this nervous tissue, we will come to know that the cells of nervous tissue, that is neuron. So, neuron is the structural and functional unit of nervous tissue or nervous system. These neuron or nerve cells provide the quick means of communication between the body and helps the body to give response to the external stimulus. So, any external stimulus which we get from the surrounding, this stimulus the body responds, and this mechanism is how it is quick. So, it provides quick means of communication between the body and helps the body to give response to the external stimulus. So, this is the first property. Second property of this neuron is, so the cell of this nervous tissue, that is neuron, are considered as impulse generating and impulse conducting unit. So, neuron plays important role in impulse generating. So, it generates impulse. So, impulse is generated and it conduct impulse. Conducting of impulse is also brought by neurons and it also generate impulse. So, it is called as a conducting unit. So, neuron act as a conducting unit. Neuron possesses two important basic properties. So, the two important basic properties of these neurons are what? They are excitability and conductivity. So, these are the main two properties of neuron which they perform. So, first is excitability and next is conductivity. So, they can conduct impulse from one neuron to another neuron. Excitability is excitation by external stimulus. So, the external stimulus which comes from the surrounding, by changing the action potential of their membrane. So, if you see the detailed structure of action potential, how does the action potential takes place through this neuron. So, that time we will learn about this, how does the excitation of this external stimulus occurs by this action potential across the membrane. Second was conductivity, means what? Is to carry a wave of electric impulse from the dendrites to axon. Carry the wave of electric impulse. So, impulse is passed through the wave of this electric from these dendrons to axons. Next is general structure. Nervous system. So, within our body there are different types of system. So, one of them is what? Nervous system, and nervous system is made up of nervous tissue. This nervous tissue is composed of nerve cells, that is neuron, and supporting cells called as neuroglia. So, nervous tissue consists of two types of cells. Number one is called as neuron, this is first cell, and neuroglia, this is a second cell. Another name for these neuroglia is glia cells or glue cells. Glue cells also they are called as. Understood? So, first that is dendrons. First is dendrites and second is axon. These cytoplasmic processes are or cytoplasmic extension thereof dendrites and axons. So, if you see the structure of these dendrites, basically these dendrites are thin. If you observe carefully, they are thin, they are small, and this cytoplasmic extension seen in the periphery of the cyton. So, this at the middle cyton is present or cell body is present, and these moves towards the periphery of this cyton. They are mainly in numbers, they are many in numbers, and break into numerous fine branches which helps to carry impulse towards the cell body. So, in same way what will happen? So, such type of one neuron will be present, understood. So, these are the dendrites, then another neuron will be present, understood. So, this is cyton, this is cyton, and they will consist of what? Dendrites, and dendrites will be attached to this second neuron. So, this is first neuron, second neuron, millions of neurons are present, and in this way such type of they are present, neurons are present. So, they will conduct impulse from where? From impulse towards the this cell body of this neuron. So, cell body and provide with few of the neurofibrils. So, they carry so these fine branches, that is dendrites, which helps to carry impulse towards the cell body. So, this is the cell body and these dendrites will carry nerve impulse towards this cyton and are provided with few of the neurofibrils. So, neurofibrils will also be present within them. Next is this part, below part, which you can see here. So, that is axon. So, axon is single, it is single and elongated or largest cytoplasmic processes useful in conducting the impulse. So, the impulse which has came from dendrites and which have passed to the cyton, now it will move towards this axon. So, it conduct the impulse away from the cell body, away from the cell body, the impulse will be conducted. Now, this axon, it is a line by axonal membrane and enclosed in cytoplasm called as exoplasm. So, the cytoplasm which is present inside this axon is called as exoplasm. So, the cytoplasm which is present inside this axon is called as what? It is called as a exoplasm. It contain large number of mitochondria. So, inside this axon also large number of mitochondria will be present, then rough endoplasmic reticulum will be present, neurofibrils will be present, but lack nasal granules. So, in axon there will be absence of these nasal granules, and these nasal granules were present in cyton. So, in this cyton region we have seen that nasal granules were present and Golgi complex is absent. So, nasal granules and Golgi complex are absent in axon of neuron, and in cyton they are present. This you have to keep it in mind. The axon throughout the length is wrapped by Szechuan cells. So, if you see the structure here, specific cells are present inside the structure of this axon, and they consist of what? They consist of Szechuan cells. So, these are the Szechuan cells are present inside or throughout the length of this axon. The Szechuan cell secretes a lipid covering. Lipid layer is secreted by the Szechuan cells, which form an insulating myelin sheath. So, externally it form a lipid layer and it is called as insulating myelin sheath. The terminal end of axon. So, these are the terminal ends you can see now below. So, these terminal ends of this axon in both myelinated and non-myelinated regions show presence of many swollen knob-like structure. So, there are number of such type of knob-like structures here below. They are called as Tele-Dendrons. So, these are called as Tele-Dendrons. They are filled with neurosecretory material. So, inside this structure you will see what? Neurosecretory materials are present. So, neurosecretory materials will be present in these Tele-Dendrons, which are present at the, or they are swollen like structure, knob like structure, and these neurosecretory materials basically they are called as what? Acetylcholine and adrenalines are present inside it, which act as a neurotransmitter. So, this acetylcholine and adrenaline is present inside these Tele-Dendrons, which is swollen or knob like structure, and inside it these neurotransmitters is present and they are acetylcholine and adrenaline. So, this was all about structure of neuron. So, in the next lecture we will continue this topic. Until then, thank you very much.